Dear teachers, social sciences is one of the compulsory school subjects to be studied up to class 10th. It primarily draws its content from history, geography, economics, political science, sociology and anthropology. In classes 9th and 10th, that is, at the secondary stage, social sciences consists of history, geography, political science and economics. In all these areas, students learn about social and economic challenges facing the nation from multiple perspectives, giving primacy to their everyday life. Friends, social sciences is perceived to be a subject of non-utility as given in National Curriculum Framework 2005 and Position Paper on Teaching of Social Sciences. We often hear that the subject is boring, loaded with information and difficult to remember. Why is it so? When we look into many of the social science classes, it is observed that the students rarely participate in the class. Learning resources are hardly used. Textual content is not connected to the daily life of the learner. Therefore, there is every possibility for the subject to be boring to the learner. At the school level, it is the teacher who plays an important role in bringing life to the class and making learning lively, interesting and easy to the learners. Teacher has to create a favorable learning environment to help the learners to construct their knowledge. Friends, you are already familiar with constructivism and the 5E model lessons. To recall, the 5 E's are engage, explore, explain, expand and evaluate. Let us watch a video of a lesson on economic activities and observe the classroom processes. Try to identify the activities under 5 E's. Ready? Let us watch the video.
Agriculture. India is one of the developing countries in the world, and agriculture is an important economic activity. A large percentage of India's population depends on agriculture for its livelihood. Agricultural products are used as food, beverages, and raw materials for industries. Most of the farmers depend on monsoon for their agriculture. They face several problems related to rainfall, irrigation, weather conditions, finance, market and modernizing agriculture. In spite of all these odds, India has made commendable progress in agriculture after independence. In the era of globalization and liberalization, all the countries are interdependent and change in one country influences the life in other parts of the world. In this chapter on agriculture, let us learn about agriculture not only in India but also in other parts of the world. In the forthcoming episodes, we will look into economic activities and agriculture, factors which influence the growing of crops, types of agriculture, major crops of the world and favorable conditions for their growing, and Agricultural Development in India. Episode 1: Economic Activities and Agriculture. Earth is a unique planet. It is inhabited by people. Food, shelter, water, education, and health are their basic needs. To fulfill these needs, they involve themselves in various activities which fetch them something in return, like money, service, or material. These activities, therefore, are called economic activities. They are farming, lumbering, fishing, working in industries, railways, and many more. When we look into the features of these activities, we can classify them into three different groups. They are primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. Let us now know about these activities by observing a classroom discussion. Here is a mini classroom.
Dear children, let me tell you a small story of four friends, Riyas, Rosie, Varun and Rajesh. Riyas and Rosie have their farm. They grow wheat. Varun, who has own lorry, transport to the city market. Rajesh has a bakery, who buys wheat and prepares bread, which is sold in his own bakery and supplies to the other market with Varun's help. This is a story of four friends.
Oh.
Will you tell me which are activities which are performed by the people in the story? Yes.
Growing wheat.
Correct. Yes.
Transporting wheat.
Yes.
Preparing bread.
Yes.
Supplying bread.
We have identified it correctly. Now, we will see what is economic activity. The people who are doing activity for the means of income is known as economic activity. Yes.
Sir, Riyaz and Rosie grow crops and get money for their livelihood.
Correct. Yes.
Varun uses his lorry, transports wheat to the market and get transportation charges from Riyaz. This helps him to lead his life.
Correct. Yes.
Rajesh sell bread and make his livelihood.
Okay, fine. Now, we will move on to the primary activity. What is a primary activity? To understand that one, we will go back to the story again. In story, we have Riyaz and Rosie. Their activity is directly depending on nature. Any activity which is directly depending on nature is known as primary activity. Now, would you tell me what was the activity performed by Riyaz and Rosie?
Farming.
Correct. Now, any more activity which is directly depending on nature? Yes.
Fishing, lumbering.
Correct.
Mining.
Correct. Yes.
Rearing animals.
You have said it correctly. Now, any activity which is directly depending on nature has been regarded as primary activity. Now, what is farming?
Sir, it is plowing land, growing crops and rearing livestock.
Correct. Now, why do you regard farming as a primary activity?
Sir, growing crops depend on several natural factors like soil, water and climatic condition of a place. Rearing animals also depend on several factors like this. As they depend directly on nature, farming is considered as a primary activity.
Yes, Aisha, you have said it correctly. Now try to recall the story of four friends and tell me what does Rajesh do?
Preparing bread and selling.
Correct. How to prepare a bread? Yes.
Wheat flour is used. It is further processed and finally baked into bread.
We all know wheat is a primary product. It has been used to prepare bread. Preparing bread is a secondary activity. Now think of any primary product which has been used for secondary activity and say some secondary activities. Yes.
Manufacturing iron and steel and making bicycles.
Yes.
Making furniture. Preparing fish foods.
Absolutely right. Now, why it is called as a secondary activity?
Sir, furniture depend on wood or iron which we extract from nature.
Yes.
Fish food depends on the fish which is caught from the water bodies in the nature.
Exactly. You have now studied about primary activity and secondary activity. Now there is another type of activity we are going to study. Anybody knows what is it?
Tertiary activities.
Correct. It is tertiary activities. Now try to recall the story of four friends. What does Varun do? Yes,
To transport wheat to the city and sell, to supply bread to the bakeries.
correct. Fine. His is neither a primary activity nor a secondary activity. But for the work he is doing, he is paid. So, what he does actually do?
Sir, he helps Riaz, Rosie and Rajesh to transport their goods to the market. He renders service and support to the primary and the secondary activities. If there is no transportation, how will the goods reach the market?
Yes, Aisha, you have said it correctly. Like transport, there are more tertiary activity which support primary and secondary activity. Now, try to recall your life experience and tell me some more tertiary activities. Yes,
Railways.
correct. Yes,
Post office.
yes, Aisha.
Banking.
Yes,
Insurance, advertising.
yes, you all said it correctly. Now, we shall perform an activity. Here are some cards with the names of economic activities. Each one of you pick any two cards and tell me to which type of economic activity it belongs to. Aisha.
Rearing livestock, primary activity. Insurance, tertiary activity.
Correct. Surjit.
Making paper, secondary activity. Railways, tertiary activity.
Correct. Radha.
Fishing, primary activity. Making machine tools, secondary activity.
Fine. Francis.
Farming, primary activity. Transportation, tertiary activity.
Well done, children. You have identified all type of economic activities correctly. After you go home, try to explore some more secondary and tertiary activities and collect their pictures. You may submit by next week.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dear children, I am sure now you have a clear understanding of economic activities and their types. They are primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. By now, you also know the features of agriculture as a primary activity. In the next episode, let us learn about the factors influencing agriculture and why it is considered as a system.
Friends, you have seen that the teacher engaged the learners with a small story of four friends. Teacher gave enough opportunities to the learners to explore similar activities. They were also able to explain why a given activity is primary, secondary or tertiary activity. They also tried to expand their learning by referring to examples from their daily life. Finally, the teacher evaluated their learning through an activity. Friends, you know that maps are important tools in learning social sciences, especially geography. Shall we now view another video wherein the teacher uses maps to help learners to construct their knowledge? It is a lesson on the factors which influence the growing of crops. Observe the role of the teacher in optimizing the learner participation in the process of learning. Let us view the video.
Factors influencing farming and farming as a system. We know that agriculture is also known by the name farming. It is a primary activity. This activity includes growing of crops, including fruits, vegetables, flowers, and even rearing of livestock. When we look into the population engaged in farming, it is about 50% of the total world population. But in case of India, it is about 66% of the population which is engaged in farming. Agriculture always depends upon favorable topography, soil, and climate of a place. We cannot grow crops wherever we want. The land on which crops are grown is known as arable land. Do you think we grow crops everywhere on the earth? Let us look at the world map showing the distribution of arable land. A group of students are looking into the map with their teacher. Let us see what are they doing.
Which map are you looking into? Yes, Radha.
Distribution of arable land in the world.
How could you make out?
The title of the map indicates the theme of the map.
Good. What is the color in this map that stands for arable land? Yes, Francis?
Green.
Good. How did you know? Yes, Urjit.
It is given in the legend.
Correct. Now tell me, which of the continents has a large part of its land under farming? Yes, Aisha?
Europe.
Right. Why is it so? So see the map in your atlas and give me the reasons. Yes, Surjit.
A large part of Europe has land whose altitude is between 0 and 1500 meters above the sea level.
Okay, fine. Yes, Francis.
It is located in temperate zone and has moderate temperature.
Good. Yes, Aisha.
There are several rivers flowing in Europe.
Right. Now tell me, what are the factors that have helped Europe to engage in farming? Yes, Surjit.
Suitable land,
Very good.
moderate temperature,
Yes.
water facility and soil condition have favored in Europe in using large part of the land for farming.
Fantastic. So all you have learned to read the map nicely. Now look at the map given in your textbook and tell me which part of Asia has arable land. Yes, Radha?
South and southeast.
Good. While a large part of land in Europe is arable, why not in Asia? So let us find out why arable land is not found in large part of Asia. So see the maps in your atlas again. Yes, Francis.
Central part of Asia is covered by mountainous region. Its height is more than 2000 meters from the sea level. It is also cold.
Observed rightly. Yes. Yes, Surjit.
In northern part, though there is plain land, climate is very cold. It is located in frigid zone.
Wonderful. Yes, Aisha.
Due to cold climate, even rivers are frozen for a long time.
Yes. All of you read correctly. Yes, Radha.
Now we can say that arable land found only in small part of Asia compared to Europe.
Very good. So we have studied that arable land is found in Asia and Europe. So in the coming weekend, you have to gather information about arable land in other two continents. So discuss amongst yourself which continents would you like to work on. Okay, so what about Francis and Radha?
Australia.
Australia. And what about Surjit and Aisha?
Africa.
Okay, so Francis and Radha are going to work on Australia and Surjit and Aisha are going to work on Africa.
Okay, madam.
The discussion between the teachers and the students have shown that several factors influence the growing of crops like topography, soil, climate and water facilities.
Friends, hope you have observed the role of the teacher in helping learners to construct their knowledge regarding factors which influence the growing of crops. Learners applied their primary map reading skills and drew inferences by interrelating the maps. Don't you think learning social sciences can be interesting when learning resources are used and opportunities are created for learners to learn together? Friends, constructivism upholds that learners are not mere recipients, but the constructors of knowledge too. Learning becomes meaningful when new ideas are connected to the existing ones. Depending on the content to be taught, the teacher is expected to give opportunities to the learners to discuss and construct knowledge, and also to go beyond the textbook. Mutual respect and acceptance of multiple views creates an enabling environment for learning. Let us view a video where a group of learners discuss about agricultural development in India. Try to identify the constructivist features.
Agricultural development in India. Indian agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. Majority of Indian population is engaged in agricultural activities. It provides food, employment as well as raw materials for industries. The physical and cultural diversities of India have led to diversity in agriculture too. A change in the pattern of agriculture is observed with the time and space in India. After independence, remarkable progress is seen in agriculture in India. Let us now listen to a group of students discussing on various aspects of agriculture which has resulted in commendable development in input, process and output, including trade and other related areas.
What happened, Harpreet? Why are you so sad?
Zaira, I am worried about my parents. As you know, my parents are involved in agriculture. We don't have sufficient money to cultivate the land. We are suffering from the loss.
Oh, no need to worry, Harpreet. Your parents can take loan from the bank.
But managing loan is not an easy job. They'll demand high interest on the main amount. 1 year before, we had taken loan from a moneylender who has charged a high interest while repaying the loan.
Correct, Harpreet. Non-institutional sources like moneylenders, traders and landlords can charge more interest and other hidden charges also, whereas institutional sources like national banks, commercial banks, cooperative banks and Grameen banks are feasible, trustworthy and charge less interest on the loan.
Correct, Raman. From this year, we'll take loan from the government recognized institutions only. But which type of loan will be suitable for us?
Actually, there are three main types of loans: short, medium and long term. As per your amount requirement and time to repay, you can choose a proper loan.
Friends, this year rain is also less and less rain will lead to loss in production.
I think we should have a scientific irrigation system like sprinkler, drip irrigation to overcome the loss from less and unexpected rain.
Anna, you are correct. Kind of land, quality of soil, water, temperature, humidity all affects the production of agricultural crops.
Yes friends, production of crops depends upon topographical and climatic condition also. The Himalayan states climatic condition is suitable for apple, whereas the states like Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are popular for the production of spices and coffee.
My father has given the soil for testing in the lab. They told that the result will help us to understand the quality of soil. As per requirement, we can provide the fertilizers for the crops.
Friends, we can increase the production of crops by using quality high yielding varieties of seeds, suitable use of fertilizers, better irrigation system and modern technology.
There are modern machines like plow, drag, land leveler, sprayer, sprayer pump, tillage planter, fertilizer and packer which are used for speedy work in the field.
My parents take tractors on rent to plow the land.
Do you know that there are many schemes from government?
Yes, Zaira. After independence, India is working on many schemes like Green Revolution, a comprehensive land development program, right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013.
Correct, Anna. Government has provided crop insurance against many disasters. Some of the schemes are Kisan Credit Card, Personal Accident Insurance schemes.
Yes, Zaira. Recently, government have also initiated Weather Bulletin, Kisan Channel, Kisan Helpline number to help the farmers and to provide information about the scientific farming. They have also fixed minimum support price, remunerative and procurement price to check that they are not exploited from the middleman.
Harpreet, you're still worried?
No, Zaira. I'll share this discussion with my parents and surely find a solution for this problem.
Oh, good. You're happy, then we are also happy.
As you have seen in the discussion, there is a need for scientific, financial, and geographical awareness among the farmers. Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern. This will increase income and reduce environmental degradation. After independence, though there is agricultural development, there is a need to have a composite and sustainable planning with proper execution for the development of agriculture in India.
Friends, hope this episode has given you the idea about teaching social sciences through constructivist approaches. In the beginning, you have viewed a class with 5E model and later a class with map based learning. Finally, a group of learners holding a discussion. We can conclude that teachers can make learning of social sciences interesting to the learners by involving them in the teaching learning process, using learning resources and creating situations for meaningful learning. Thank you.